So currently I've got a pretty fun project on the desk. It's a neck from a Precision bass, which I think is a 62. Belongs to my friend. The body I think is a 59 and the neck is a 62. And mainly what I'm going to do, I may do a bit of work on this nut. I'm going to clean off, get this crazy amount of gunk on here. I'm going to clean all this gunk off. Scrape it all off and then clean it with lighter fluid. Then I'm going to stone the frets and it's going to look awesome. So the first thing I'm doing is you can use a credit card or in this case an old RAC membership. I'm going to be able to scrape most of it off with that. I can use a blade as well. I've got to be a little bit more careful with the blade. This gets quite a bit of the gunk off. So I got the worst of it off. I haven't really got into in between the frets, but I just want to have a look and see how much this comes off with the lighter fluid. I'm going to make more work for myself than necessary. Gone off quite well actually. One of the things that's going to happen as I'm masking these up and cutting it with a scalpel is any little bits that have got stuck there are going to be out by them. It's cleaning up pretty good. So it's cleaned up fairly well. I'm going to clean up the rest of the guitar, just get any grit. Somebody's put some gaffer here. I'm going to clean that all up. So, somebody attaching Allen keys, I guess. Clean up the whole back of the neck. Just using the same thing, should come up pretty good. So that's cleaned up for now anyway. What I'm also going to do is, because I'm not going to begin working on the frets right now, and I don't want to put the tape on because that'll get stickier and stickier and soak into the wood, but I don't want to leave it with this dry fingerboard, the lighter fluid dries the wood out, so I'm going to oil it before I leave it. I'm going to use fret juice. Rather too much on, but this fingerboard hasn't had a lot of love and has just been pretty cool to it. It's going to get oiled again when I come back and do the frets, so let's give it a nice drink. Take a little bit of the excess off. I'm going to use a sort of cloth rag it a little bit. That should soak up the excess a little bit better than the J-cloth. It's starting to look pretty healthy. I think what I'm also going to do is, this tuners are in pretty good shape. And what I might do initially is just clean them out a little. This is just an air duster from Mecca. Probably a bit of overkill. A light brush would do it too. What I might do is, let me just... actually pretty good. I might put a little bit of oil in. I may try this. I use this to oil my knives. It's actually oil for fishing reels, but it's pretty nice stuff, so I'm going to put a little bit of that in. Let's see. This dispenser is great, so I can put it in there. Not getting too much waste. And then I'll sort of twist them around a bit to get the oil around. This one is the slightly different. Also probably need to put it in the other moving parts, like here, here, and inside there. This one in particular. Alright, so back with the Fender P bass. If I remember rightly in the last section I was a bit vague with the date, but the neck is definitely 61 because it's written in pencil here. So this is 61 neck. So what I'm going to do in this bit, before I flatten the frets and then crown them a little, I'm going to give the truss rod a couple of turns. Well, first of all I'm going to measure it. I'm going to get this exactly straight using my notched, I've got a couple of notched straight edges. This one is for basses. Okay, two different sizes. So this is the side for the Fenders here. And what I'm going to do, basically going to, it looks actually pretty straight already. I'm just going to spend a bit of time, hold this up to the light, see if any light passes through, and get it super straight. Somebody might write in the comments, oh, necks are supposed to have relief in it. They don't have to have relief in it. Some people like straight necks. But more importantly, you don't want relief in it when you're going to flat it, because you'll just flatten these bits and not these bits, it won't be even. So even if your player likes relief in the neck, you have got to get it absolutely flat before you start filing it down. Okay, so I'm just going to mess about with my straight edge till I get this bang on, and then I'll come back to you when I'm going to flat the neck. Now what I generally do before I start leveling the frets is to go along and check whether any frets are prone or not. So here's the fret rocker, and go along and see if any of them are rocking. It's just slightly unbalanced on here, so I have to be careful. So far, yeah, very slight rock there. So what I found going along the neck with the fret rocker is actually not too bad down this end, but it gets pretty uneven towards the bottom end of the neck. Also, you don't need to worry about this. This has clearly been refretted before. If you can see where along here, you can see the damage to the fretboard. That's where the previous fingerboard's been pulled out, which isn't surprising. 1961 bass. What I like to do before I start to flat it is to, I've already started here, fill that in, put black permanent marker along each fret, and that means when I come to use a leveling file, I can see which frets are low and which ones are high. So now we're pretty much ready to use the leveling file. I don't need to mask it off for this bit, it's not going to really damage the fingerboard. So this is a very flat leveling file from Crimson Guitars. It actually has a truss rod in there, so I can check how flat it is with this. Also from Crimson Guitar, straight edge. And if I hold that to the light, nothing is coming through really. And it's just, I generally like to stand up for this, but it's generally just an even pressure along the fingerboard, making sure you're getting all the frets equally, and the black marker should reveal where the frets are particularly low. So I like to do this the other way around. What also is useful to do is put some masking tape on the nut, that you might knock that and break it. I might actually just do that very quickly. Doesn't have to be super neat, you just put a couple on, just avoid taking chips. This nut is actually a little high. The grooves are not too high, but the actual there's too much nut around the string, so I'm also going to take that off later. Little bits of black marker missing. I don't actually have the body to this bass. If I had the body, I would put the body on, but the body is away being sprayed at the minute. Let's give this a go in a minute. One gets revealed pretty quickly. If I can just pick the camera up for a second. what gets revealed pretty quickly is where the frets are low. So those low bits are where the strings have worn them or they've been knocked. So I'm going to go over this a couple of times till they're absolutely level, and then I'll start crowning them.
Not all of Edinburgh's legends are quite as gruesome as that of Burke and Hare. If you find yourself in the vicinity of Greyfriars Kirk, you'll discover a real dog tale. The story.
I finished flatting it and then rounding the edge off with a file. I also did quite a few goes over with wet and dry paper, 240 and then 320 grit, and I'm currently using these let's see that Crimson Guitar fret rubber. So this one's quite abrasive, I think it's around 400, and just going around the end of the frets, making sure that gets polished too so they're not going to be rough, and then up and down the sides. And then along the top, just to gradually bring them up to a nice shine. And I've got 3 other fret rubbers that get increasingly lighter grade. The final one brings it up to quite a polish, and after that I'm going to use a bit of chrome cleaner and we'll be ready to go.